Hello everyone, good morning. I hope all of you are good and I am also fine. So today I will take one class after a long time from the subject physics and from the topics dimensions. Okay, so in dimension we have to know what are fundamental physical quantities, fundamental and derived quantities. Okay, first one is fundamental physical quantities. Okay, so fundamental physical quantities is which cannot be split further. Okay, those quantities are fundamental in physics which cannot be split in further. Those cannot be split further. Okay, example time, length, mass are etc. You cannot split time, you cannot split length, and you cannot split also mass. So these are known as fundamental because they cannot be split. Okay, next one is what are derived quantities. So derived physical quantities. Okay, derived physical quantities. Derived physical quantities are those which can be split further. Those can be split further. I write in short form. Okay, so further example is what, sir? Example is like force we can split like mass into acceleration. Okay, so derived quantity are those which can be split and which can be represented, which should be represented by in terms of fundamental quantities. Okay, these are known as derived quantities. And you can say also velocity is distance about displacement by time. Okay, fine. Next, now the dimension of there are how many fundamental quantities are there in physics. You have to know there are 7 fundamental physical quantities are there in physics. Okay, these are 7 fundamental physical quantities. 7 fundamental physical quantities are there, and these are quantities are there. This is number 1 is mass, and it is the dimension of mass is capital M within third bracket. Okay, it is represented in third bracket. Next one is length, and length the dimension is capital L. Third one is time, and time dimension is capital T. And fourth one is current dimension is capital A or sometimes I. Okay, capital A. And fifth one is temperature. So temperature dimension here is capital K, that is Kelvin, in Kelvin. And sixth number is number of moles or amount of substance. Okay, amount of substance, it is denoted as MOL. Okay, mole. And the seventh number, that is the last number, is luminous intensity. Right? Okay, luminous intensity is denoted by CD. So these are the 7 fundamental physical quantities. All the derived quantities we derive using these 7 fundamental quantities. Okay, why they are called fundamental quantities? Because they cannot be split. So out of the 7, 6 are very important because these 6 are uses most of the cases. Okay, these 6 are uses most of the cases, and in dimensions especially. And 7 was not necessary, not used that much like the other 6. Okay, so now I will discuss about some formulas or tips in dimensions. Okay, so let's move on. Now I read some formulas for dimensions. Formulas, you have to remember this one. These are number 1, if A equal to B, then dimensionally we can write dimensions of A equal to dimensions of B, or it may be dimensional or unit wise, okay, unitly or dimensionally we can write dimensions of A equal to dimensions of B. Number 1. Number 2, if A minus B, then dimensionally we can say dimensions of A equal to dimensions of B, okay. Then third, if A plus B, then also dimensions of A is equal to dimensions of B. So there are 3 cases. If they are equal, or if you added 2 physical quantities, then dimensional or unit wise they should be equal. Or if you subtract or adding, then also they are be equal. Because if I try to measure the age of 2 persons, then we have to measure the age of 2 persons. We cannot add one person age and another person length, height, okay, because physical quantity should be same, or dimension unit category should be same. And another fourth formula, if e to the power x or a to the power y for exponential function, then dimensionally we can say x is equal to 1 or y equal to 1, okay. So in case of exponential function, if e to the power x something and a to the power y something, then dimension we can say x equal to 1 and y equal to 1, and these are dimensionless. These are, one means dimensionless. So many physical quantities are there dimensionless. And the last one is if all trigonometric functions, all trigonometric functions and angles are also dimensionless. That is sin theta is equal to cos theta is equal to tan theta is equal to cot theta is equal to sec theta is equal to cosec theta is equal to 1, okay. All 6 trigonometric function dimensions will be 1, and theta is also 1. Why? Let me give one example here. Sin theta is what? I am explaining why here. Sin theta is perpendicular by hypotenuse. So perpendicular is one length and hypotenuse is one length. It will be 1. And theta is what? S by R. S is length and R is length. So it will be 1 also. Okay. So these are the formulas. These are the formulas for dimensions. Okay. You have to remember this one. By using these 5 formulas, we can do any questions, any MCQ question. It may be JEE, Neet, or your board exams questions. Okay. So let's do it. So students, our first question is the dimension formula of the constant A in the van der Waals equation. This one is the van der Waals equations. This one is van der Waals equations. Okay. This one is van der Waals equations. And dimensions of A we have to find out. And this question came in so many times in Neet, and that is medical entrance and engineering entrance. Okay. JEE. So many times, not only single times or twice or thrice, so many times came in medical engineering entrance. So let's try to do it. So what is given? So this is the equation. So dimensionally, what I am saying, I said if it is in the form A plus B, it is in the form A plus B, then we can say dimensions of A and dimensions of B are equal, is not it? Okay, so P plus A by B square. So dimensionally P we can write dimensionally we can write what? P equal to A by B square. So A equal to PB square. P is what, sir? P is pressure. So pressure is nothing but force by area, is not it? And volume is B. So force is what, sir? Dimension of force is M L T minus 2, and A is L square. Area is what? Area is length into breadth. So it one is also length, so L square. And volume is what, sir? L B H, is not it? So this one is also length, this one also length, this one also length. So it will be L cube. So it will be L cube whole square, right? So M L T minus 2 by L square into L to the power 6. So if you cut this by this, it will be L to the power 4. Okay, come here. So dimensions of A will be M L T minus 2 L 4. So M L 5 T minus 2. So dimensions of A is what? M L 5 T minus 2. Okay, got my point? So what I am using the formula? I using the formula this if two physical term is in the form A plus B, then they are dimensionally equal. Okay, I using this formula, and after that I simplify I equal to P by square. P is F force by area, and after that I just use the formulas. Force is what? Force is what? Dimension of force is what? Force is equal to mass into acceleration, is not it? Mass into acceleration. So mass is M, acceleration is what? LT minus 2. So MLT minus 2. Okay, I put the dimension of force here, I put dimension of area here, and dimension of dimensions of volume here. Okay, after simply what comes? A equal to M L5 T minus 2. So which option is correct here? Option C is the correct answer, right? Option C is the correct answer. So got my point? It's so simple. Okay, it's so simple. So students, our next question, that is question number 2, is like that. This question is came in AIMS, that is medical entrance in 2013. Okay, the force F is given by the expression F equal to A cos Bx plus C sin dt, where x is the displacement and t is the time. The dimensions of d by b is what we have to find out. There are 4 options is given. Okay, so let's try to find out. So what is given here? This is the equation is given, expression of force. So you know that this one is theta, that means angle. Okay, so theta is always dimensionally, we can say theta is 1 dimensionless. So x, b will be what? B will be 1 by x. X means here displacement, x is the displacement, that is length. Okay, so L minus 1. So dimension is b what? L minus 1. Now this one, this dt is also the angle, that is dimensionless 1. So d will be 1 by t, is to be 1 by t, that is t minus 1. Okay, now dimensions of b by t. So dimensions of b by t will be d is what? T minus 1, and b is L minus 1, and we can write it also L T minus 1, and L T minus 1 is nothing but the velocity, is not it? Because L by t, that is distance by time, displacement by time, it is known as velocity. Okay, which option is correct? Option A is the correct option. So option A is the correct answer. Okay, so dimension is so simple if your fundamental or if your concept is clear. Okay, in physics you can do nothing with numericals or MCQs if your concept is fully clear. Okay, so what I am doing, I am just take this part because we have to find out the dimensions of d by b. So b is here, so cos theta, this one is theta, and I take part. Theta is dimensionless, I already written in the formulas. So here, from here, b is what? L minus 1, and dt, similarly d is what? T minus 1. So now I find the value of d by b is what? I put the dimensions of d and b separately. After that, what comes? L minus 1, and L t minus 1 is nothing but the dimensions of velocity. So which option is correct? Option A is the correct here. Okay, so move on the next question. So our next question, that is question number 3, is like that. If force F, length L, and time t with the consider fundamental units, then the unit of mass will be what? Okay, the unit of mass will be what? We have to find out. So when any physical quantity, consider it may be unit, it will be fundamental or may not be fundamental. If any physical quantity considered as fundamental, if it in spite of it is a direct physical quantity, then you have to consider only as a fundamental quantity. Okay, here length is fundamental, no doubt, time is fundamental, no doubt. Okay, we cannot split this one. But force is not fundamental, because force is derived quantity, because force can be derived by mass and acceleration also be derived by velocity and time, and velocity also can be derived by displacement by time. Okay, so force is not fundamental. Since in this question they already asked that you consider F force, F is the fundamental, then in that case you have to consider force as F and dimension of force as F. Okay, so let me do it. So we know that force is what? Force is mass into acceleration, is not it? From that we have to find out the dimension of mass is what? So force we have to consider F here, not mlt minus 2, because it is fundamental, they already mentioned in the question. So mass we have to find out dimension, and acceleration we can write what? Velocity by time, is not it? Velocity by time. And dimension of velocity is what? Velocity is displacement by time, that is lt, that is lt minus 1, is not it? So F is equal to mass equal to L, this one is lt minus 1 by t. So F into t is equal to m mass into lt minus 1. So ultimately the dimension of mass or unit of mass will be F into t by lt minus 1. So it will be F L minus 1 and t 1 plus 1, that is t2. So F L minus 1 t2 t plus 2, F L minus 1 t plus 2. So which option is correct? Option C is the correct answer. Okay, option C is the correct answer. So what I am doing, this type of, when they ask in a question any derived quantities as a fundamental, you have to consider it is fundamental. Okay, and the symbol will be, what will be they mention in the bracket. Here force is F, you have to put in place of force is F. Okay, dimension only, and length is length, and time is time. So I write the dimension of first formula of force. Force is nothing but mass into acceleration. We all know that it's, then acceleration is what? Velocity by time, and velocity of dimension is displacement by time. So lt minus 1 I put here, and here is t. So after that I simplify this one, and after simplify what comes? Mass, dimension of mass or unit of mass is what? F L minus 1 t2. Okay, got my pen? Okay, so move on the next question. So our fourth and last question is like that. This is the fourth question of the lecture and last question of the lecture. Okay, if x is equal to at plus bt square, where x is the distance traveled by the body in kilometer and t is the time in second, then the unit of b is what? We have to find out. And this type of one question, exactly this type of question is exactly came in NEET 2024. Exactly this type of question one came NEET 2024. Okay, so let's try to do it. What is given? This one is the equation, and I write equation x equal to at plus bt square. Okay, now we have to find out the dimension of b is what. So we know that dimensionally this is equal to this one, and this is also equal to this one. Okay, since we have to find out the unit of b, so we can say unitly or dimensionally what? X is equal to bt square. So b equal to x by t square. X is what? X is in kilometer. So right here kilometer, and t is what? Seconds. So it I represent second is x. Okay, So what is the unit of B? The unit of B is kilometer per second square. Okay, and which option is correct? Option C is the correct answer. Got my point? This type of one question is exactly this type of one question came in NEET 2024. So it's so simple. If you know the exact formula, there is 5 formula given here. One is exponentiation form, another is equal if two physical quantities are equal, and if two physical quantities are subtract, and if physical quantities are added, and another is all trigonometry functions and angles are dimensionless. Okay, you have to remember these 5 rules, and you can be solve any type of questions. It may be JEE, NEET, IIT, whatever it may be, you can solve. Okay, I hope this lecture will help you for the preparation in NEET, JEE and board. Okay, so thank you for watching.